Hello and welcome to the last section of this chapter, section 4.6. We'll be talking about isosceles triangles and equilateral triangles. Isosceles triangles, and these are the different parts that we're going to be focused on. Vertex angle of an isosceles triangle, it's an angle formed by the two congruent sides. So if I know this leg and this leg are congruent, the vertex angle is the one up top here. Then that, as opposed to the base angles are the two angles formed by the base and one of the congruent sides. Okay, let's talk about Theorem 4.9 here. This is the isosceles triangle theorem. And the isosceles triangle theorem states that if two sides of a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite those two sides are congruent. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that this side is congruent to this side, and then that would mean that this angle is congruent to this angle, basically saying the base angles are congruent. Okay, and then there is a converse to that. The converse of that theorem is if two angles of a triangle are congruent, then the sides opposite those angles are congruent. Okay, so let's say we start with the angles first. I'm going to tell you that this angle is congruent to this angle. Then by the converse theorem up here, this side AB would have to be congruent to this side BC. And then we're on the corollary. Now remember, the corollary is an offshoot or spin-off of a theorem. The corollary to 4.3, a triangle is equilateral if and only if, remember the abbreviation, IFF, it is equiangular. Okay, so if this triangle here is equiangular, then I know it's equilateral. So let's say that this angle is equal to this angle and this angle, then all of the opposite sides of those angles would be congruent. AC congruent to AB, congruent to BC. So a triangle is equilateral if and only if it is equiangular. Okay, then a corollary to 4.4. Each angle of an equilateral triangle measures 60 degrees, and that should make perfect sense. If a triangle has to add up to 180 degrees, then if you equally divide that by 3, 180 divided by 60, or 180 divided by 3 is in fact 60 degrees. So as we can see here, all of these have a measure of 60 degrees. And there you go.